In this video, we are going to do the first row of the cup cozy where we rearrange the stitches in a way that this join here is going to be in the back of our work, so the middle of the back needle, and the pattern side, which will be the cable side, is going to be the front needle. So this part with the cable pattern is going to be in the front, and the one where we joined the rounds is going to be the middle of the back. I have just counted my stitches. The pattern requires 21 stitches and the back is whatever stitches you have left. It doesn't matter how long your cup cozy is, as long as it fits your cup. The main thing is that the front needle should have 21 stitches so that we can complete the full cable chart. So now I have 42 stitches in total. I'm going to make sure that I've got 21 on the front, 21 in the back. It's a complete coincidence that I ended up with the same stitches front and back, by the way, and it doesn't matter if yours is not the same. So the back of the chart or the back of the pattern is just stockinette, so it's all knit stitches, but the front is going to have some knit stitches, purl stitches, and even some cables. But we're starting with the back part, the second half of the back. So I'm starting by knitting 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is where the back of the work will end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull out my magic loop cable and start the new round, which is going to be the front of the work. It's a bit awkward now because there's so many more stitches in the back, but we will fix that in a minute. Here we're starting the front of the work, and the front of the work we have to follow the cable pattern. The cable pattern is included in your pattern of the cup cozy. It starts with a purl stitch and then it's going to straight away start by small cables. So the first stitch is a purl. The first stitch of the front is always going to be a purl, and then we do a left leaning little cable, and we're not going to use a cable needle for it. So let's see how to do that. For a left leaning cable, what we need is this first stitch to come off the needle, and if you would use a cable needle, it would be held to the front. Then we would knit the next again stitch, and then we would knit the first stitch from the cable needle so that they basically switch spaces. This will be on the left of that, but we are not using a cable needle. We are just using our existing needles to do this trick. How we do that is by making sure that our working yarn is in the back. We slip this stitch off without twisting it, and we just keep it on that needle and we just forget about it for a minute. Then we are going to knit the next stitch as we would if this stitch would be sitting on our cable needle held to the front. But now we have to do a little trick because we have to make sure that this little stitch that we slipped comes over to this side. And how we do that is by inserting our left needle into that stitch, holding on to the stitch on our needle with our middle finger, and we gently pulling out our back needle from both of these stitches, but then we're putting it straight back into that second stitch because we've already knitted that. So we just want to make sure that it's back on our needle. And then, now that the sequence of these stitches got reversed, we will be able to just knit it as normal. Here we go. And here we have created a left leaning cable without the use of a cable needle. After the small cables, our pattern has a seed stitch. So we're going to do a knit one, purl one, knit one. And then we're gonna set up for the large cables, which will happen in the next row. So it's gonna be knit 4, which will be one cable, the left leaning larger cable. Then we're gonna purl 1, which will be just the stitches in between those cables. And we're going to knit 4 again. Now, as you can see, we are running out of stitches here because we have to then steal some stitches from the back. We are now temporarily going to turn our work around. I'm pulling out the magic loop so that we can continue. We have knit 1 stitch so far, we need 3 more if you follow your pattern. So we will rearrange this in a minute. So we need 3 more knit stitches. Then we're gonna do the seed stitch again, which is a knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. And now we're gonna do the other side, the right leaning small cable without a cable needle. To do the right leaning cable, if we would use a cable needle, we would take this first stitch and put it on a cable needle and put it behind our work. We would then knit the next stitch, and finally we would knit the stitch that's hanging on the cable needle behind our work. We are not using a cable needle. We will mimic this by making sure that this first stitch will be to the back. For that, we need to bring our working yarn to the front so that our next stitch will mimic being in the back of our work. We will slip it without twisting it and forget about it for the minute. We are going to knit the next stitch as normal. And now we need to reverse the sequence of these stitches by bringing this stitch to the other side of that stitch, but behind. So to be able to do that, we need to come behind our work and we need to insert our left needle into that slipped second stitch from the back. Now we once again going to use our middle finger to secure the first stitch. We will pull out our right needle from both of those stitches and we'll insert it back to the left hand side stitch. Then we just put our working yarn back behind our work and knit that stitch, which we have just slipped back behind our second already knit stitch. We have now created a right leaning little cable by reversing the sequence of these stitches without the use of a cable needle. All that is left of this row now, or this side rather, is 1 more purl stitch, because our pattern will be framed by 2 purl stitches, one at the beginning and one at the end. And now we have completed the pattern side. So once again I'm going to pull out my needle, and here we have now rearranged our stitches, having all the normal knit stitches on this side and having the patterned cabled stitches on the other side. All we have to do is finish knitting this round, because we only knit the first half of it from the join. This part is only knit stitches, and we have completed 1 round when we reached the middle of this side. You may place a stitch marker if you wish to where your beginning of the round is, but it's actually not really gonna be necessary. First of all, because this side is only stockinette, fully knit stitches, they all look the same. Second of all, because in this pattern's case, it's very, very easy to tell where your round begins. I just started a new one, because that's where your tail is hanging and that's where your little join will be, which won't be fixed until we have finished our work. So just carry on and knit all the way along this side, starting the next round of our work. And we also don't need stitch markers to know where the pattern front side is, because the way that we split up the stitches now, and this is now complete, is one side of our work is patterned and the other side is plain stockinette. Here we go. So this was it. We have now learned how to cast on with the I-cord cast on. We have also split our stitches between our 2 needles. This can also be done the same exact way on double pointed needles, in a way that the patterned is on one needle and the non-patterned plain stockinette is on the other needle, with the join somewhere in the middle. So in the next video I will show you the other cables, the 2x2 cables, how to do those, and we will then recap on the smaller ones. Smaller big cables are created the exact same way. The only difference is how many of the stitches you slip before knitting. So pop over to the next video where we will learn how to do the 2x2 cables without a needle, without the use of a cable needle.